welcome to another Grand Finals. Not as big as the con, but still a really good tournament. This is the finals of the Gathering Stone Discord tournament. If you don't know this Discord, I'll actually link it. There's a lot of, for land battles, it's actually quite a good server. Yeah, there's a lot of people playing land battles, slow commanders, that kind of thing. It's run by Mr. Soul Invictus himself. Very chill server, a lot of cool people in there. And we ran a great tournament. I will also link the brackets in the description or something. But basically, it was a single elimination tournament, 16 people. Use it, lose it. I'll quickly go through the rules just so we're on the same page. The rules were 12 infantry max, 6 melee, 4 same, 8 cav, 3 horse archers, 1 elephant or chariot. So um, pretty standard rules. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Also one thing was that the nomads were allowed to be played, and actually, I think the nomads were pretty cool. I might do a video on the nomads because if you play them like the way that people think you might play them, they're very boring. But I played with 2 out of the 3 nomad factions, and my games were both done in about 10 minutes. Um, Against people that were defending against it properly. Like not, it's not like I just ran over them because they didn't know what they were doing. Certainly the defense was fine, but nomads are actually really interesting, and um, the way you play against them as well is also interesting, even though it is kind of boxy, obviously. But I don't think it's that bad. So nomads were cool. They had 6 HA max, but I don't think there's any nomads in this series, so no worries there. But anyway, yeah, really good tournament. It was use it lose it, which can be a little weird. But whatever. So I'll quickly, because it's lose it, we don't have the same factions remaining. So I'll quickly tell you what factions Sofado, who's my opponent, and I have used so far. So Sofado has used Galatia, Saba, Aravaki, Pontus, Numidia, Tillus, and Nervii. So a pretty good pool of factions, right? A lot of good factions in there. Galatia, Saba, Tillus especially. It's like 3 of the top, maybe top 7 factions or something. And I have used Saba, Parthia, Boii, Roxolani, Misagatai, Epirus, Numidia, and Galatia. So again, also some pretty good factions, Saba, Parthia, Boii. Um, pretty impressive pool of factions being used there. Those were against Acer, and I played him in the first round. And Sofado had to play Ulda in the second round, I think. It was basically all BO3s until the final, which is going to be BO5. And so I think he used he used Saba and Galatia against Ulda and Aravaki. So again, yeah, when you play good players, you kind of have to use good factions. But the problem with use it lose it, I will say before the replays get underway here, is that if you like strike a deal with your opponent, let's say you're playing your friend in the in some round, you can just say, hey, let's just not use the good factions, let's keep them, so no matter who wins, we have a better chance of winning the tournament. And that's totally, you're allowed to do that. Nobody's saying you can't do that. Maybe your friend should be like, no, if you're gonna take bad factions, I'm just gonna take good factions and win. But they're totally within their rights to say, sure, let's just agree on that. But let's say on the other side of the bracket, somebody else doesn't play their friends and they can't really strike that deal. Then they're going to be at an inherent disadvantage in later rounds. Or if the tournament is unseeded and you play a whole bunch of good players in a row, you're going to be running out of your good factions by the time you get to the finals, whereas somebody else might have had an easier run. It is what it is. Not the worst thing in the world anyway. And in the end here, I'd say we have pretty equal factions. Sofado has slightly better factions. I would say like I've used 1, 2, 3. I've used Galatia, Saba, Parthia, and Boii, which are top 4 factions. And then he's used Galatia, Saba, and Tillus. But he has like one extra really good faction remaining. And he has the Nomads, but he said he didn't want to use the Nomads, which is fair enough, I guess. Mm. So, yeah, the other thing with the use it, lose it is that like somebody has to pick first and you counterpick. You could do matchup faction, I suppose, with your remaining factions, but things can get weird. And then of course you wouldn't be able to use like you would only be able to do match faction with factions that you already have, like both have, so it'd be weird. It'd be weird. So whatever. Um, but yeah, so those are the factions remaining if you want to go back and see it again to remember. That's good. But anyway, Sofado was the upper bracket, I think, so he had to pick first in game 1. And there's a lot of theory here, I think, about how you should pick. Again, he has slightly better factions remaining. So the question is like, but he has slightly better factions remaining, but he also picks first 3 times in the series. which could be problematic, right? Because if you pick first, you get counterpicked. But I only have so many factions that can realistically hard counter him at this point because I only have basically like Armenia, Tillis, and that are like factions that are like hard counter on like something he could choose. So yeah, I'm not sure what he should do exactly, but you know he has Boyai. But do you really want to pick Boyai first? Because if he picks Boyai first here, I'm just gonna throw away some faction that I don't care about losing, and I'm just gonna win the other games, right? Because now I have equal factions, and we both picked twice. So it's an interesting theory question about what you should do. He went Gedai though. I think he regrets this pick. I would say like he has enough factions to where he doesn't have to go Geta. I think Geta is a little too weak here. And also gives me the opportunity to use Swaby, which isn't even a faction I would necessarily want to use. But because Geta is not so strong in Cav, Swaby is actually really good here. So that's going to be the matchup for game 1. So yeah, Geta is going to have trouble, I think, against Swaby. You can go through my armies real quick, and there's 6 melee, and I have all 6 of my melee here. It's 3 Club Levy, 2 Bloodsworn, and a Swordmaster. I have 1 Spear Levy out in front here just to prevent any kind of frontal YOLO charges. I got 4 Wodenaz Spears and 4 Kimberly Bows, 2 Noble Riders, and 3 Javcav. Swaby really likes to have 4 Javcav in sort of this style of play, but it's not too bad. The Spear Levy can kind of cover my center. Still have the 2 cav. We got the really strong flanks here. And it's just tough for Gedai to deal with this. Like, you basically, with the fast charge as well, which I am running, these Wodenaz Spears, like, you basically can't kill them with anything except for Noble Swords as Gedai. Because you lack mid-tier swords as Gedai, it's just really hard to beat Swaby, because Swaby's going to have the low tiers that are going to really affect it with fast charge, but you also just have no way of dealing with the Wodenaz Spears. Like, literally just no way, because your Spears are bad. Compared to the Wodenaz, and even the Axe Warriors are going to get cooked by the Wodenaz as well. So you really have to rely on your archers and your cav to do something. Maybe he could go for a more skirmish heavy build, but it also is only 8 cav max, so when you take the 3 bow horse, which you kind of have to, then you can only get 5 cav. He does have that, so he does have the 8 cav that you're allowed to bring. He does have the 3 bow horse, 4 spear horse, and the noble horse gen. He has 2 noble swords and 4 axe warriors. Dacian heavies, 2 Dacian heavies and 2 Thracian peltas. Thracian peltas, a decent pick here as well. And he has 2 spear warriors, which are a good unit. But again, there's just nothing for them to do here, really. Like, they are a good unit, but I don't have a lot of cav. I don't have any low tier spears except for this 1 spear levy. So these guys feel a little out of place. I mean, you have to bring them. I'm not saying you shouldn't bring them, but maybe you can save. I mean, if you save money into going spears, like, what are you gonna get with the extra money? Like, there's nothing else to really get. So, yeah, I think this is just a tough matchup. And again, it is a position where Soft is getting counterpicked. So maybe he doesn't care too much about game 1, right? Like, this honestly isn't terrible. I just think there's like better factions that you can use as a throwaway. Like, bring like Lusitania or something. Because now like he's fine with losing this game because again he has better factions and he still gets to counter pick me twice. So he kind of wants to just counter pick me twice in the 2 games that I pick first, and then he still has the better faction. So one of the games that he picks first, he can just take a really strong faction that can't really hard counter, like Boya or something, for example. And then maybe he can in that game win the 2 games that he counter picks me, and I'm gonna start running out of factions. Maybe he was hoping that by taking something weak, I would take something strong and then kind of cuck myself, because realistically, I should never take something strong here. I can just counterpick him with something that's not like top tier. Also gonna get a free kill on this bow horse here. And you got strayed a little too close, and you have to be careful of the very light Germanic Scout Riders, which are super quick. So I actually get a nice, nice kill on this bow horse. Gonna break it completely and get out with only 6 losses, so that's a really good start for me. So he's gonna press the attack, obviously. Again, I still have the 4 Kimberly Bowmen though. They're gonna be really annoying against Cav. I'm gonna target his Cav here if I can, but he's gonna get out. Actually, gonna probably dodge these. Not well, a little bit. Well, you can see he has a lot of Spear Horse on my flank here, so he can get potentially into my archers on this side because this guy was so far away. That's why he wanted to press the advantage, because he knew I didn't have as much support over here. but he's still going to take a lot of damage doing that from the frontal Wodenaz attack. Over here, it's a little less secure because I have my Noble Rider that's not my gen. My gen has to play here to do the fast charge, so my right flank is obviously a bit weaker. Maybe this guy should have come over here and helped, but it is what it is. Here I'm trying to hunt this bow horse, but he's actually going to probably get out in time here. Also just dumping the shit out of his Thracian Peltas. I could also shoot the Axe Warriors, but again, my Wodenaz are just winning this fight, so I don't really need to. So I'm just like, I'll shoot Thracian Peltas, whatever. Now I pop fast charge. I'm actually doing my Germanic Scout Rider way out in front here. Look how fast they are. They don't even have fast charge. But they get P-Lud, so I decide I kind of have to charge. But at least he can't really charge this unit now, right? So I can just get a free charge in here. But I'm going to lose a Scout Rider pretty much, but whatever. You can see I kind of get him pretty cleanly here. So it's nice for my club lobby to get some insta kills. Here, my general's going to hit his general. Bad fight for my general. Like, long term, this is very bad. But just to block his charge is totally fine. Just means that my general would be pretty hurt because it's a very heavy shot cav against a heavy melee cav there. But I'm piling support into this fight. I'm just gonna get my Swordmaster in, but he did actually kind of just run away with his Noble Sword, which is what I was charging. So I'm not gonna get a good charge here. Maybe I will anyway because they're in the charge animation. It's kind of funny. We got my Wodenaz here. You see, they lost a lot of men to his Spear Horse and whatever other people and stuff. But I'm going to get a flanking attack on his Axe Warriors. The Axe Warriors are not great in this matchup either. It's just like he has to bring them, but they're not good. Over here, my Kimbries are completely safe. There's no cav threat at all, so I can just shoot. And on this flank, I'm able to get a Bloodsworn in. These Bloodsworn are going to kill so many Axe Warriors so fast. This cav is sort of screening against these Spear Horsemen. They could just bypass it, but at least I would get some Javelins, as you can see there. He's gonna hit my Wodenaz, but that's kind of fine. Getting a lot of damage into this blob with my Kimbri. I'm just shooting into the blob, trying to shoot cav. Obviously, cav are the biggest threat to me, so I'm shooting cav. I can kill the infantry later. And my infantry is actually still doing pretty well. Swordmasters already have almost a chevron with only 7 losses. Club levy gonna start to fall. I mean, there are noble swords here, and fast charge is over. But now he's trying to get into my Kimbri bowman. Which he kind of can, but again, they have spears, so it's not the end of the world for me. His cav is mostly going down. You can see I still have all 4 bows. His cav is nowhere near healthy enough to get anywhere near my archers at this point, so it's just going to be hard. The fast charge was quite successful, I would say. Now I'm getting some pretty good sword side shots into the noble swords. The infantry is still pretty healthy, though. 120 noble swords here. But again, it's just these Wodenaz are going to start to decimate everything at like 45 kills, 4 losses. Axe Warrior is going to die. So my flanks are very secure. Both flanks doing very well. And yeah, he has some noble swords in the middle, but that's nothing that my archers can't take care of eventually. And now the combination of my Jav Cap and my Wodenaz is very effective at hunting down archers and stuff, because the Wodenaz are quite quick. And when there's a threat of people breaking through, I can just split up my archers. And again, he doesn't really have the cav superiority to get there anymore. Again, my archers can just dump these cav. He's still got these noble swords, but again, I'm more prioritizing killing the cav, and then I can always shoot these guys later. Plus, my swordmaster is still alive and doing well. His archers, you can see, are also shooting my infantry. They're probably doing some pretty good damage. Yeah, something like that. Not great, but something. But you know, long term is going to favor me because I have more good infantry than he does, and I only need to target the 2 noble swords, and once those guys are dead, all of my infantry beats all of his infantry. Here's General Strays too close. Again, I mean, you could never get near my archers. There's just a critical mass of my archers, so with my general and some spear support, we can ward off all the cav. My other noble riders still quite healthy, and yeah, this is just GG. Now it's just cleanup time on the archers and stuff. There's only 2 archers, so it's not really going to be a big deal. My noble riders are healthy. There's nothing to do here for Getai. So yeah, pretty straightforward win, but because of the nature of this use it, lose it style and the way that it's like pick and counter pick, this isn't like a devastating loss for Sofado. He hasn't used any of his good factions that he still has, and he has more of them than I do. So it's kind of like seems like kind of a free win. And again, I don't think Getai was the pick here. I think he certainly should have gone something a little stronger that wasn't like his top tier factions. You know, Arverni, Boyai, I don't think it's Tilis, but Parthia, Armenia, stuff like that. I think he should have certainly gone Lusitani here, or I mean, maybe we can look real quick. But yeah, kills wise, I mean, Wodenaz getting a Chevron each. This one got charged, so not as much. Swordmaster doing well. Club Levy and Bloodsworn getting some value with a fast charge. And again, just these axes are really not going to get good value against Swaby. The Noble Swords, I mean, they're just a target for me, so I just hunt them with my archers. And like cycle a fast charge on them, which basically is what happened. And yeah, I mean the Cav just it's not good enough Cav for Gedai really to defeat Swaby. Like these two Noble Riders can do so much work. I blocked his general from getting into the action. His Spear Horse can really get one charge, but they're getting shot and peeled by the Wodenaz. So tough matchup. Thracian Pelt is doing okay. Archer's doing okay. But eventually his infantry is just gonna crumble, and then these guys are gonna get hunted down before they can do all that much. So yeah, let me quickly look at the factions. Like, don't want Empire Divided. Don't want Land Battle or Siege Battle. Just as a matter of principle, really. But yeah, so let's see, like, he doesn't, like, let's say he doesn't want to use Parthia, he doesn't want to use, Arverni or Boyai. Those were, like, three of his stronger factions. My strong factions that are left are Armenia and Tillis, and Arverni, I guess. He also has the Nomads again. But yeah, you certainly want to go something like, maybe, and you probably don't want to pick Swaby, because then I just pick Pontus or something, but he could go Pontus, he could go, you know, Lusitania is a good pick here, since I don't have that many Eastern factions left. And again, if I use Armenia, let's say he goes Lusitania, I go Armenia, like, that's just a bad for me, right? Because this is a game that he's willing to throw away, and I'm using a good faction for it, which means when he starts to use his good factions, and he gets to counterpick me, he's gonna get wins for free there, and he has more good factions remaining than I do. But yeah, I mean, it's not clear. I think Pontus is probably the pick here. Because if he goes Lusitania, I can go Pontus, and I'm kind of okay with that. Or I can go Bactria or something. Gentai is not a terrible pick, but also like Nervii was an option. Swaby, not really. I mean, Swaby actually could be, because Pontus is not that strong on these rules. So perhaps he should actually go, we can go Lusitania, or he could go Swaby or something. Or Aravaki. Or no, he used Aravaki, to be fair. But yeah, Nervii is certainly an option here. So yeah, I don't know. Gentai's not a terrible pick by any means, but I think there's probably slightly stronger picks available that he could reasonably go for. Or you just go like Arverni or something. It's like hard to counter Arverni, but yeah, I mean honestly, if he went Arverni here, I think it was fine. But it's not like he can't. He can just do that the next game that he gets to pick first, right? So a bit of a throwaway game, let's say, but it's 1-0, which, you know, it's kind of like compensation for the fact that he has better factions. It's the fact that I get to pick 3 times as a counter pick. But I mean, probably not fun for Soft. Alright, so next game was game 2, and I did exactly what I said. I said I don't want to use my super strong factions, but I want something that's tough to counter. So I went Arverni. But he just said I'm gonna go Boya. And again, he can kind of do this because he has those extra factions. He just needs to win every game where he picks a good faction, and in choosing like the right faction for the job, because he's just hard counter picking me. That's exactly what he's done here, right? Like if he wins with Boya, he wins with Parthia, and he wins with like, let me look at his factions again. Sorry, Boya, and like Arverni, Parthia, yeah. Then it's kind of over, you know, it's kind of over. So by me going Arverni, this is his replay. If I go Arverni, he just says, okay, I know the perfect counter here. Like, he just probably doesn't want to go Parthia because it could be a close game. Like, I can bring some good spears, I have good cav. He just can bring like a straight, I mean, like, Boya is also going to be close, but he has a straight upgrade essentially over my faction by taking Boya. So he's just going to take this. And of course, it's winnable for Arverni, no doubt, but it is a tough matchup for Arverni just because of the sword followers. I mean, it literally is because of the sword followers. But he's taking a strange army, to be honest. Like, I don't think his army like really maximizes that strength, but it's still very good. He has, well, I go over my army first. So my army is, again, I don't want to take chosen swords here because I feel like sword followers are just a straight upgrade over them, and they only cost 40 more. So there's no real point. So I have 3 oaths and 3 Celtics as my core. To get the triple oath and try to like win via that, and also have 4 heavy horse and a noble horse, so and 4 slingers. So I'm playing for like super heavy oathstorm build with also kite potential with the 4 slingers and the 5 cav. Then my spears are a spear warrior and 4 levy freeman. And yeah, the 4 slingers. So that's a pretty standard army, I would say. Like, you could go Chosen Swords, and I looked at the army potential with that, but it just didn't really make sense. The money wasn't great working out, and also just like, I don't know, the Chosen Swords are kind of useless in this matchup. They can't beat Oathsworn, they can't beat Sword Followers. What are they gonna do? Kill Celtics, I suppose, but like that's not really super value. So Soph has a nice army though as well. He's got 2 Sword Followers, he's got 2 Oathsworn, so he's able to essentially out mid-tier me. Well, he is out mid-tier me. He basically has the 2 Sword Followers for my Oathsworn and a Celtic, which is favor for the Sword Followers because they're just so good. He also has only 3 Slingers. He has the same Cav Force as me, and he has 2 Celtics, like I said, and then 2 Spear Warriors and 1, 2, 3, 4 Levy Freeman, because he also saves a bit of money with the 2 Sword Followers over the Oathsworn and the Celtic, so he's able to get an extra Spear Warrior, essentially, for a Slinger, with the difference that he saves. So his army is just kind of better. I mean, it's going to be hard because he has a better Spear Force, so he can just take the initial engagements with his Spears and win them. And then, sure, I have the 3 Oathsworn, but he has essentially just a better melee force. Like, yes, I'm going to win some with my Oathsworn, but he's going to have those 2 Sword Followers that can do a lot, and he has 2 Oathsworn. And he'll just have an extra infantry unit, right, which is going to be allowing him to pressure my Cav harder and get to my Slingers easier. But if I can kill his Cav, then there's certainly a chance, because then I'm going to have the 4 Slingers in the late game, which can do a lot of damage. So yeah, we're just forming up here, getting a position. He's getting some early shots on my Levy Freeman as well, which is not great. I should not allow that really, because they're just taking unnecessary damage. You can see as soon as I get into range, he's going to start walking forward to prevent me from doing the same thing, just shooting down his Levy Freeman. So here we go, he's going to walk forward. I am getting some shots on his Levy Freeman, I guess. So kind of equalizing things. 114, actually, these guys just ate it because of the sword side. So that was nice. So here he comes, he's going to bring up his Cav. I should countercharge probably here. I think I'm just going to charge this Cav. So I get peel on his gens, pretty decent. Get a clean charge in here, I don't take peel, so this is very nice. But this Levy Freeman going to go down here again. He lost 12 men for this though, so like fine, because I get good peel with my Levy Freeman. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I decided to run away over here though. I really just need to get engaged. Like, I have the Oathsworn, I need to just get into the fight as fast as possible. And here I kind of make a mistake. I'm going to kind of get out. If I take a rear peel volley, like, this is just bad. I mean, this is just a bad start. He's going to rear charge me and got rear peel out. Oathsworn, 7 kills on Oathsworn from the very start. It's just terrible. I'm getting dumped in the back here as well. So I think I should have just accepted the fight. Like, the fight wasn't that bad where I need to run away everywhere. Like, I still have 3 Oathsworn. Like, it's okay to just take the fight everywhere. Running away here is just sus. Like, he has more infantry, eventually he's going to get me. I'm not shooting anymore because I'm running away. So a lot of problems with how I took this engagement. But that being said, I'm going to get a nice Oathsworn engagement here. You can see I'm kind of wrapping around here. So he's going to get nice shots on this Oathsworn, and well done to him for targeting this unit where you can kind of get rear shots here. See, like, these guys are further back. Here, like, my Spear Warriors also just route, and so I'm kind of having problems all over the place a little bit because I'm running out of infantry. My Levy Freeman have died, so is a lot of his Levy Freeman have also died. But my Spear Warrior routes here, like, he's getting into my flank. I have to like send a Celtic all the way around the flank. This Celtic is almost dead already, even though it is doing good damage to his Cav. And this Oathsworn is losing to my Oathsworn, so that's good because I'm getting nice shots with my Slingers into the sword side. Here I can't just take another rear peel for nothing, but I'm gonna get a nice charge here, so that's fine. Here again, just like, this Celtic Warrior is gonna feast. This Sword Follower is gonna feast. I'm running out of units here, essentially. I'm just letting his Cav have too much value. And although they're gonna be depleted, he doesn't really care that much if he just wins the infantry fight, because I don't really get that much. I mean, of course, my Slingers late game could be a threat here, but if his infantry just wins, his depleted Cav with his infantry can just run after my Slingers and eventually catch them. Whereas my Cav being healthy doesn't really do me that much good, because I don't really want to go for his Slingers. Like, it doesn't really help me all that much, because then he can just trade off with my Slingers. So I'm going to take a nice fight over here, though, where I have this Celtic cooking this Spear Warrior. I'm getting into a nice Cav fight. My Gen's going to go all the way around the flank and potentially try to get into a fight on the flank and route some stuff over here. Because I did try to kite this side, right? So I kind of want to end it over here. Spear Warrior comes back. This Celtic is low, so there's some counterplay to be had. Here his Cav is very weak, so I'm trying to get into his Cav and just finish them off. But his Slingers are having a lot of impact, whereas mine are just running away, right? So that's not good. But slowly I am recuperating because I'm going to win these cav fights quite decisively with my general. And my general is going to try to just... Okay, he's still fighting here, but I can... Any cav fights here are good, but his slingers, again, are just having way more impact than me. These slingers need to get in and just start shooting stuff. Like, he's getting so many shots on my cav with his slingers, and any shots he gets there are quite valuable. His general, though, is going to put himself in kind of a pickle here. He's going to get surrounded. But this fight, you can just dump with slingers. I'm going to dump with slingers, and long term, that's not terrible for him. He also has an extra cav unit, just chilling. But I'm soon going to have an extra cav unit as well that can go hunt the slingers down, which will at least give me some time. I get my general out of here to kill this unit. This doesn't throw their refuel, which is a little unfortunate. Now they do, so okay, I'm going to kill his extra unit for free. So things are actually looking a little better, but he's also just won this flank very decisively, where his Oathsworn, or his slingers are able to shoot my Oathsworn in the side, and I just haven't been able to do that because my slingers are playing super baity, because he just kind of rushed and killed so much early. But at least I'm killing off his cav. He doesn't have almost any cav left, his general, I suppose. But my general's also down to 15, so I don't really know how that happened, to be honest, but my general's quite weak. This Oathsworn and this Oathsworn are still alive, though. Getting into his cav, at least, his slingers at least a little bit, but not able to finish anything off. And he still has these little cav units that can eventually kill my slingers. And just look how full Celtic warrior, full sword follower. As I said, like, he just has the better infantry force, honestly. And he routed a lot of my shit early. So yeah, this is just gonna be tough. I mean, honestly, this isn't even. I mean, this is just winning for him pretty much. I need to kill these Celtic warriors somehow. My Oathsworn is too slow. They're caught in the middle of nowhere. They can't really do anything. I'm trying to regroup somewhere, so maybe I can just kill his slingers with my slingers. And yeah, now I'm getting some good shots on these Celtics, but there's also a full spear warrior here, pretty much full spear warrior. Those are going to be much harder to kill with their 65 armor and 50 health. You know, these Celtics can die to my slingers pretty quick. But the red line is also fast approaching, and you can see my Oathsworn are dead. He still has got very healthy infantry, so there's not all that much I can really hope to do here. I mean, I guess if like if his like fodder units were dead, it's possible to win this probably, because I have 4 slingers. But he also just has more cav at this point, so his general here at 24. I'm not sure how his general got so healthy, whereas mine was so weak. But his slingers just got insane value, like 54 in a Chev, 87 and 2 Chevron shooting Oathsworn in the back, 68 in a Chevron. Where you can see mine have a lot of ammo left, 21, 62, 32. They do have a lot of ammo, but they are not gonna be able to use it essentially. So yeah, I think the big mistake here was not just taking the fight heads up and just engaging in more places. By trying to skirmish to one side, just made it very difficult to use the slingers early in the game. And he just took advantage of that, killed my infantry, and now, yes, his cav is mostly destroyed. I still have the 4 slingers, but he can just hunt me down slowly but surely. This unit is pretty much just dead, and now he's just equalized the slinger fight, and at this point, there's just no hope. Getting into my general should probably die. And yeah, I mean, not much else to do. And yeah, his slingers again, they're just shooting while my slingers are running. It's a classic trap, and yeah, nothing else to do. So yeah, a nice counter pick. Again, not a terrible matchup honestly for Averni, but certainly a difficult one. But probably I made it harder than it needed to be for myself. So a nice play from Sofado. He gets that win, and now he probably thinks everything is back on track, pretty much, right? Like he got this one counter pick win. He still has a couple of counter picks left to do. Looking back on it, maybe I shouldn't be taking Arverni here. Maybe I should be gambling. Like I should go Lusitania or something. Um, because again, we're kind of just trading. We can kind of like trade throwaway wins until somebody like either loses a game when I like, let's say like either I take Lusitania and he loses with his counter pick or something, or I do the same. By taking Arverni here, it's just like I lose this faction for later, and he can always counter it with Boyai. So I kind of want him to take Boyai against something weaker, therefore saving me Arverni. For when he can't hard counter, because I don't think he has anything else that can really hard counter Arverni. Like Parthia, I guess maybe, but not terrible. So maybe it was worth me trading back this throwaway victory to him by taking Lusitania or Pontus or whatever. instead of doing this, because now he still has Arverni, right? And now I don't have anything that can really beat Arverni either, except for Armenia or something, or Tillis. I guess I have Tillis. Um, but oh yeah, I forgot. The big thing is that he has Armenia and Parthia left, right? So he has two Eastern factions to my one. Tillis isn't really a great match for those factions. So yeah, I'm certainly still down here. So taking Arverni was not the play here. Should have taken Lusitani or Arvasi or something, or Carthage. I don't know, something like that, and just gambled. Again, probably a game that you're going to lose, but at least a game that you have a chance of winning, and either you win if he doesn't take a very strong faction, like he doesn't take Boyai, Armenia, Parthia, you have a chance to win the game. But if he does, then he's just wasting a good faction essentially, and you're keeping your factions. Therefore, I'd be equalizing my good factions, and I still would counterpick more than he would, so I'd have the advantage. So probably a mistake in the theory there, but so be it. So he picks first again in this game, and he picked Parthia, which is a decent pick here. I think he basically said, you know, he can't really afford to like, he doesn't need to throw away games anymore. He got his one win. He still has Parthia, Armenia, and uh, Arverni for the last three games, right? Those are the three factions he can just pick back to back to back. So he doesn't need to waste factions. If he didn't use a good faction here, he'd essentially be uh, throwing, kind of, because he wouldn't be able to use all three of his remaining very strong factions. You can argue that maybe Armenia is a better pick here. There are mirrors allowed. So I think he probably should pick Armenia here, because worst case scenario, I'm going Armenia and it's a mirror matchup, and then in the last, it's a 50-50, it's a toss-up, let's say, and in the last two games, he's going to have Parthia and Arverni, and I'm going to have Tillis and unknown faction. Because I would just kind of be at a disadvantage. But to be fair for him, this matchup is just straight up good for him. So if he wins this game, then it's 2-1, and he still has Armenia and Arverni, two very good factions, which are both like different strengths, right? And he can just wait until the game, and then the next game he counterpicks me, right? So if I go Tillis, he would go Armenia, and if I go Armenia, he would just go. Well, he could basically just throw the game. He would just lose the game intentionally, and then win with Tillis versus Armenia in the final game, because there's no better picks to be made. And maybe he would throw the game intentionally, but he would go, if I go Armenia, he could go like Pontus or something and try to win the game. Probably would lose, but in the last game, I would have to go Tillis pretty much, and he would go Armenia, and he'd have the advantage there. Well, I guess it would all depend on who won the 50-50. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of going too deep into this. But anyway, he went Parthia. Actually, I think this is a good pick, now that I think about it, because he wants to win this game and then still counterpick me in the next game. Oh, no, do not Parthia. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I'm going Armenia, because it's the only faction I have that can counter Eastern factions. So, here we go. Yeah, so tough matchup for Armenia, and also, I actually played this game and I broke the rules in the first game. I had like too much cav, I think. So we both allowed each other to change our armies. So I changed my army to have less cav. He changed his army a little. He had like noble horse archers in the first game, like two of them, I think. He only has one this time. That game was pretty close. And definitely having the extra cav helped me. So I was definitely worried about this. I had the extra horse skirmisher is basically what happened. So my army is pretty interesting. I have 1, 2, 3 Eastern Cataphracts, 1 Royal Cataphract, 2 Noble Blood Cav, 2 Horse Skirmishers, 1, 2, 3 Eastern Spearmen. My infantry force is 4 Cartly Axemen, 2 Hillmen, and I have 2 Eastern Javelin Men, which you might think is an interesting choice. And I would agree with you. But Parthia has 5 Cataphracts, so it's 3 Eastern Cataphracts and 2 Camel Cataphracts, so very nice Cataphract force. He's got the Noble Horse Archer and 2 Sarmatian Horse Archer. Actually, these might be Horse Skirmishers as well, actually. 2 Horse Skirmishers and the Noble Horse Archer. Gen, he's got 1, 2, 3 Eastern Slingers. He does have 1, 2, 3 Parthian Swords, 2 Hillmen, and 3 Eastern Spears, so very nice army from Sof. I figured, like, I can't really try to go Slingers here, to be honest, because with the 5 Cataphracts that he can bring, and the better HA force, like he can bring Horse Archers, or he can bring the Horse Skirmishers, or he can bring Noble Horse Archers. Well, I was really scared of Noble Horse Archers, right? Because if he brings Noble Horse Archers, my Slingers have no chance of surviving, because he can just go kill them with the Noble Horse Archers at some point. And my cav is going to be busy dealing with his cav. So I figured I'll just go for the full rush. I'll bring the Javelin in, because I can just kill some Cataphracts at the start of the game, and if he kills them later, who really cares, right? Because they're going to be almost out of ammo, they're going to have done some damage, all good. And then I have an extra melee cav unit compared to him, which could be really, well, extra cav, like melee slash shock cav. He actually has 1 more shock cav than I do, but I have 2 more melee cav to his 0. So I have an extra combat cavalry unit. He has an extra skirmish cavalry unit, although his noble horse archer could be argued is kind of in the middle there. But these noble blood cav can do really well. They can tie his cataphracts down. And the other thing is he has 2 camels, and the camels are a liability in a cav fight. They're really good against infantry, and I do have a lot of infantry with the 4 Cartley and the Hillman and stuff, so they could do a lot of damage in that sense. But if I just go for the straight up YOLO frontally, I can kill these camels with my cataphracts. Not kill them, but I can do a lot of damage to them early on the first charge with my Eastern cataphracts, and potentially get an advantage in the cav fight. Whereas obviously I cannot take a charge with my noble blood cav against a cataphract; they'll just get destroyed. And I also have the Royal Cataphract, right? And the Royal Cataphract can defeat an Eastern Cataphract. So the cav fight is kind of in my favor. And plus I have an extra unit in general. And so I'm just going to send it into him and expect that that fight will be good for me. And again, I want to target these camels. Let's see if... I'm also going to kite on this flank a little bit, because again, I want to attack where my general is. I get a nice counter charge here. My javelins are coming in. I get another Eastern Cataphract charge. So you can see, or a Royal Cataphract charge. So my plan, you can see, is that I'm going to kill this camel, basically. I got 2 charges, like Eastern Cataphract charge, then a Royal Cataphract charge. You can already see he's lost more men than me, although that's sort of whatever, it's the very start of the battle. But I kind of avoid this Eastern Cataphract, which was going to face it off with a Noble Blood Cav, so we don't really want to take that fight anyway. So I came in here, I'm going to rear charge this unit to try to trap it in at least as much as I can. And then this Cataphract is kind of in no man's land, because yeah, I can chase my Noble Blood Cav and can get a rear charge on it, which will do damage. But he's going to take 2 Pila Volleys. Well, Pila Volley plus this, plus my Javelin Men here. I don't really care if this unit dies. If I get Pila into both his Cataphracts and I get this double charge here, it's going to be pretty good for me. My Cartley are going to break through the center here. Here you can see my Cataphract charge into his Cataphract. I actually got the better of this. Maybe I got some Pila. But he is coming into the side of my flank here because I'm cutting away. You can see he has a lot of units pretty far away, including a whole Cataphract, which is really good because, again, that Cataphract, in theory, is lining up against the Noble Blood Cav. Because, again, I'm 2 for 1 here. Then this is a lineup. This is a lineup. This is a lineup, Cataphract versus Eastern Cataphract, so this is pretty good for me, actually. And he has the advantage here, Cataphract against Noble Blood. But this Cataphract is slow and very much out of the fight. So I'm actually going to get the advantage over here, which is where I want to win my fight, faster than he can get back his advantage from the left side. He did get a nice charge into my Cartley, though, and even into my Javelin Man with this Camel Cataphract. I could get a good counter charge here, though. He doesn't have any good follow-up. Like, these Parthian swords are far away. I guess he has this Parthian sword. But it is kind of far away, and again, this Cartley is going to break through. This Parthian sword just matched up with this Cartley, essentially. And on the flank, he has Hillman really far out here, which means I have a free Hillman here, which is going to get this Pila into the Cataphract, and also can just kill an Eastern Spearman, whereas this Hillman's kind of too far away for its own good. Same with this one. You shouldn't have put the Hillman on the flank. Those Pila volleys are essential in the mainline fight. So you can see he doesn't even want to chase me here, which means that this camel is dead. He's going to get a nice charge on my Hillman, which actually didn't get a Pila because I didn't target it correctly, so he gets a little fortunate there, I would say. But my Jav Cav are here to do some nice damage as well. My Eastern Javelin Men can turn their fire as well. And you can see this camel is just dropping very quickly. My Noble Blood Cav can get out of here and can get into this Cataphract potentially. And just try to tie it down because it didn't get a charge on it, right? So if it didn't get a charge, it's going to do quite well. He actually turns around. Does he get a charge technically? I guess he does, which is kind of ridiculous because the turning radius on these guys is usually not that good. But at least going to give me a chance to dump this Cataphract. If I trade, it's a really good trade for me. Here I get this counter charge. You can see the camel's got 30 kills. That's pretty good. My Javelin Men... Okay, the Javelin Men got out, but they have no kills. I have my flank kind of holding passively here. And now his camel has to retreat, right? Long term, this fight's bad for him. This Parthian sword comes in at a weird angle where I can just kind of go this way. I'm like, okay, fuck it. This is a noble horse archer, not a cataphract, so I can't take that fight. This camel's almost dead, can't take that fight. So now I'm actually just busting through. And again, I do have to get to his slingers. If I don't get to his slingers, we're gonna be in for a bad time, because they can just shoot my cav the whole game. Like my Jav Cav does some weird shit trying to shoot and just like runs into the cataphract. But you can see the javelin men are actually getting really good value here, just killing cataphracts. Same with my Jav Cav. And so even though I'm losing my noble blood for this, it's not terrible. Here his flank attack is going to end up coming in, so I am going to have to sacrifice my noble blood cav here. But it's kind of good because I'm going to get my cataphracts in here as well, and my hillman in this fight. And so actually this fight will be okay long term for me, even though I'm going to take a beating initially. Here I'm going into his cataphract, killing it off with my cataphract again. Like I lost only 6 men, he lost 40, 43 because of the initial engagement. My general's just going to bail here because he does have a lot of cataphracts in this area. I also have all these like Eastern Spearmen because I didn't have any slingers. I had only 2 javelin men. I have a lot of Eastern Spears just hanging around. And while his are routing, mine are here, and they can just provide sanctuary against Cav. Like I can just run away behind them, and they can just interrupt Cav. I have another one out here as well. So yeah, I have an extra Eastern Spear. I guess this is the point. And his hillmen are out there, which means I don't have to fight them, but they're not really doing much of anything. They're only getting into the fight now. Here, I'm going to charge back in with my noble blood cap. Just again, I'm trying to keep this cataphract tied down as long as possible so my javelins can still do damage to them. He's going to go after my cataphract here with his camel, but again, these camels aren't going to, I mean, they're going to do good damage on the charge, of course, but they're not going to do as much damage as possible, and my royal cata can now come back charge this camel, and it's not going to like that. It might get a charge if he just turns around, but it's still going to be a devastating charge for my royal cata. And yeah, you can see it. They kind of drop like a regular cav, honestly, not even like a cataphract. Normal cataphracts are starting to take some damage, but I have better support. Again, I have 4 Cartley, and they are all engaged now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my support here is really good, and now his cataphracts are blobbing up, which means I'm gonna get nice hammer charges, hammer anvil charges here with my cataphracts. My Cartley are supporting this fight. I'm just getting everything I can to the cat fight, basically. Because again, if I kill these cataphracts, it's going to be quite good for me. Here we kind of get a weird charge. But again, Eastern Spearman support can actually prove to be quite valuable here. His general now has to engage cataphracts, or he has to lose his slingers. He tries to go for this fight. Obviously, it's going to be a great fight for the cataphracts. And you can see here, he kind of just has to run away, because I have Cartley and Spear supporting this equal cataphract fight. On the flank here, these Cartley actually cleaned up their Parthian sword counterparts, so now they're just cleaning up hillmen and stuff. Or I guess the Parthian swords are actually in here, but they're quite low. My general can just pull out, still has 40 men, not doing too badly at all. These noble blood cav mean these long-term fights are really good. It means I can actually kill cataphracts pretty quickly, whereas, you know, cataphract versus cataphract kind of takes forever after the charge. But with these noble bloods, they can actually, you know, kill cav, and also get to his archers and stuff pretty effectively. My cataphracts are still very healthy, chasing down his noble blood. He does have some units behind here, but because his cavalry is just taking such a beating, there's not much he can really do, because long term I'm just going to kill all his catas. His catas, and then my catas are still going to be alive. Javelin been getting some decent kills. I mean, the other one's dead now, I guess, but it got some really good kills on that rightmost cataphract of the enemy from my perspective. And yeah, these Parthian swords just not really a threat in late game, so it's a very crucial win. This is kind of like the game that I needed to win, right? Like, realistically, after this game, if I lose it, I don't have an answer for his Armenia. Unless I get lucky or something. But by winning this game, now I have Tillis, and he doesn't have an answer for Tillis, because, well, I guess he does in the sense that he can go Armenia against Tillis, but if he goes Armenia against Tillis, then he's kind of used up his good factions as well. It's an interesting one, though. I mean, he still has Arverni, I suppose, right? So I think his play, I mean, I'm going to go Tillis in this next game, right? He has to try and decide when he wants to go Arverni and when he wants to go Armenia, I guess. But anyway, I picked Tillis. He does decide to go Arverni. I think he should just go on Armenia here, and it's probably a decent fight for Tillis still, but I think Armenia actually has the advantage. And even if he loses, at least he has Arverni in the last game, right? And if he has Arverni in the last game, I don't have anything for that, besides going like Lusitania or something. Again, just a lot of theory in the faction picking here, that could swing the tides in your favor. Because again, you just want to play as many battles that are easy as possible. Like just straight up where you have the advantage. And I feel like in this tournament, in this series, Soft maybe had the the opportunity to do that a little bit more than he did. But anyway, it's Arverni versus Tillis. It's a very good matchup for Tillis, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not sure why he wouldn't use Armenia here, I guess. But we can go over the armies anyway. This is kind of similar to the matchup that I had against Boyai, except this is not as straightforward, I think. The Boyai one is nice because you have a lot of the same units, but you just have a better unit in the Sword Follower. Tillis and Arverni, like, they're pretty equally, or similarly matched. I think Tillis is slightly better, but they have very different units. So the game is more diverse, it's more unbalanced, whereas Boyai Arverni is sort of, you do the same thing, and then Arverni just suffers against the two Sword Followers. Whereas here, at least you have the Cav advantage. You have you have the Chosen Swords, which aren't terrible. I mean, the Tribals are better. I guess that's kind of similar, but you do have the Cav advantage, which is something different. But I've gone for a very, very strong Tillis army, which I think is pretty much really good on these rules. It's 4 Celtic Slingers, 2 Levy Freemen, only 2 Levy Freemen because you get 4 Spear Warriors, 3 Oathsworn, which are here, and here, 3 Oathsworn, 3 Tribals, 1 Light Horse, and 3 Javcav, Raiding Horse. The Light Horse is kind of a meme. I mean, usually this army you take 4 Raiding Horse, and it's really strong because they can kill Cav. But here with only 3 max Javcav, I had to take a Light Horse. But it's a really strong army. It's no Cav, no melee Cav pretty much. So you count the Light Horse. But you just make up for it with insane melee power and 4 Spear Warriors, which can do a lot of damage to Cav. And basically the idea is either the enemy has to use their Cav to charge aggressively, because you're going to win the Spear War, because you have so many Spear Warriors, and you have better infantry. And basically, if he takes the spear fight, then you just get your Oathsworn and your Tribals into the spear fight, kill off his spears, and then your spears can defend your rear. And even if he gets counter charges, you have 3 Tribals and 3 Oathsworns. So like, yes, he might win some of those fights because he gets the counter charge, but realistically, you're not beating 3 Oathsworns and 3 Tribals in any sort of melee fight, counter charge or not. It doesn't really matter that much because you can also recycle, and yeah, it doesn't really matter. If he gives you the spear fight, you just get your swords in so that your swords don't get charged by his cav, right? That's the one thing you need to avoid, is your swords getting charged by cav. Or you can use this cav to like win the spear fight, but then he's gonna take a lot of pila. You're gonna get 2 lines of pila from your spears and your infantry behind them. And then, yes, some of your spears might die, but now his cav is gonna be weak. You have the raiding horse. You're gonna maintain some spears. You know, spear warriors aren't really gonna get one shot, or you can suicide like your light horse or something to block a charge, and then you're gonna just win the infantry fight decisively because you're gonna get your infantry in, and his cav is gonna be low. So either way, it's not great. You also have 4 slingers to just win the slinger war or tie it and shoot cav and stuff. Quickly, Sofado's army is 3 Levy Freemen, 4 Levy Freemen, 2 Spear Warriors, the opposite of my Spear Force, 3 Celtic Slingers. He's gone for 2 Naked Swords and 2 Oathsworn with I guess 1 Chosen Sword and 1 Celtic. Again, he kind of wants to avoid the Chosen Swords, because, like, what are they going to do against Tribals? Not much. He has Slingers facing backwards here, which I thought was interesting, so I just shot them in the back. He just gets some kills on my Raiding Horse, but, like, whatever. I also got a kill on this Heavy Horse with my Raiding Horse, so it works out. Here, I'm expecting him to go aggro, so I'm playing very aggressive with my Raiding Horse on the flanks to try to just get some free shots. I'm going to run my Slingers all the way back here so they can just shoot. And I'm just going to stand here. Like, I'm just going to stand here, and if he charges me, he charges me. He's going to take a lot of pila. Again, trying to get shots with my Raiding Horse as possible, but I can just bring them behind my lines. I just pop Cavalry counter tactics, because, like, now you can't charge me, or it's going to be worse if you charge me. Gets a nice, like, flank charge here. And you can see it forces these guys to run behind, and they just get, like, mega pilaed, like, they just die. They just die. My Slingers shoot. So he's trying to, like, I mean, he's trying to get in here against this. Here it's a little bit better for him, but even here, like, these guys are throwing pila, these guys are throwing pila, like, 38, 48, 42, 52, like, again, his cav is now weak, and now I can just push where he doesn't have good cav and good spears, and my spear advantage is just massive. His slingers were still facing backwards against my raiding horse. Here we're going to take a pretty equal fight. He actually does, he gets one charge into my tribals, but that's acceptable. Gonna dump it with my slinger though, and you can see they're gonna get really good shots here into the back and side of these heavy horse. So that heavy horse made out pretty well, but you can see my swords just have such a big advantage. Like with bringing 5 cav here, including the noble horse, you just don't have enough infantry. Like he has 2 Oathsworn to my 3. He has these 2 naked warriors, which don't stand a chance against anything I have. And I have these tribals, which will just cook so hard in long-term melee. And you can see I still have a good amount of spears to defend my rear against any sort of cav. I guess over here he kind of has the advantage, but if he brings all his cav forward, then my raiding horse will snipe his slingers. I'm cycle charging here as well. I mean, he has a Celtic warrior, which has like can't do anything. He does get a decently nice engagement here with his nakeds into the flank of my general, so I like that from him. Here I just like bring my light horse. I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna charge into this guy. What's gonna happen? And he gets a couple kills, but instantly down 20 men with 2 fuel volleys, so pretty much a waste. Like the light horse should just go around and try to kill. Like honestly, it'd be better for the raiding horse to play back here so they can shoot cav, and the light horse to go around the back. As maybe counterintuitive as that is, because the raiding horse can't really shoot his heavy horse here. He also just has his slingers facing my raiding horse, so I didn't realize that, and I lost a whole unit, which is not good. But here, like, the naked swords just get peeled in the back, and they're dead. With 26 kills on Oathsworn and tribal, so not terrible value, but not great. They're also just getting shot by my slingers. And you can see he hasn't been able to pressure my slingers yet. He is going to bust through on this flank, though, where he had, like, some flanking action, and all of his cav is here. He's going to get the naked sword through. So my tribals are going to go down, but, again, like, 4 of my 6 infantry over here, he's already lost a full Oathsworn for essentially nothing, 50 kills. Not much value, and my spears are over here as well. My spears mean that he can't really get to my, like, any rear charges. He can't get to my cav. I can pressure his slingers. Now his slingers can't shoot as much. He is going to get to my slingers on this flank, but I'm just going to slow him down as much as possible. My Oathsworn, before he's even able to surround me, are still getting really good value, 100 kills and a chevron. Pretty much killing off a chosen sword, and now he's going to get into the back of them, and we'll start to kill them. But it doesn't really matter because, again, my infantry over here is just 187, not 119, 73, just super healthy. Even his Oathsworn here is going to start to take some losses to my tribals because he's not recharging them. Instead, he's trying to go for my Oathsworn, which does make sense. And I'm getting still some good value here. I'm just going to run away from his cav. Make it hard to kill the slingers. You should just spread out, like run the slinger this way, run the slinger this way, run it this way. Just spread out, make his cav have to chase my slingers for longer, which means he isn't killing my infantry. And I still have a couple of raiding horse here, like this raiding horse, 43 men, this one's 49. They can go after his slingers, juking out his cav a little bit, but he does have still some other cav. But again, these cav are defending his slingers. They're not going for my units. They're getting recharges. So that's going to slow him down, essentially, on how fast he can break through my flank. Here, I'm winning this fight. He's going to get the recharge of the tribal, which will break them. Like, I got 25 kills on Oathsworn. Not terrible. This Oathsworn's finally going to go down, but again, just buying me time to rush over, like, completely destroy this flank. Now I have better infantry. I mean, he really only has a naked and an Oathsworn for melee infantry left. This Celtic is pretty much dead. Naked could be good, but again, like, against 2 tribals and 2 oath, there's not much you can really do long term. And here you can see my raiding horse just trading off with his cav. I need to keep like 1 raiding horse alive to hunt his slingers at some point. My slingers aren't fully routed. You can see they just ran really far away. So it's going to be annoying for him to chase them down. They're going to keep coming back from routing, which is really annoying for him. The slinger classic. And you can see even this Oathsworn actually just survived. Like he just couldn't kill him. Because again, either he sits here and he like recharges it and cycle charges it for like a minute, and then yes, the Oathsworn would die, but it just, he has to invest so many resources to do that. Whereas I have to just run over his flank and then just come this way with my entire army and finish off what's left. I have good support with my spears, and he doesn't have all that much cav anymore. Anyway, right? So now my goal is just to get to this Oathsworn's last good infantry. This naked sword can always die later. I actually see opportunity here. I'm like, wait, I can just charge this guy with my raiding horse. There's nothing he can do about that. And it will be a decent charge. I mean, raiding horse aren't the best on the charge, but there's against naked swords they can do damage, and also just block his charge essentially, so he doesn't get a charge on my Oathsworn, which is very tired because it used 10 hunt, so it's gonna die. He doesn't have much cav left over here, so I feel like I can just get into this fight with my spears, kill this cav off, and then go kill his slingers. One weakness to this army is if his slingers survive, you know, late game he could always just shoot me down. There's not much I can do. Of course, Oathsworn and Tribals have good armor, but if he has enough ammo, he could just win that.
Get out!
Now I'm just trying to get into the rear charges here. His Oathsworn's gonna go down. I'm going after his Naked Sword, which is exhausted now, so it's in a tough spot. He does have a lot of cav left, so that's good. But you can see my slingers are actually still alive, 3 of them. So he has to go back and kill them. If he does that, it's going to probably cost him this cav unit, basically. He has to go back to kill these slingers. If he doesn't kill them, I'll just consolidate my slingers on top of my army, and then I can just kill the slingers with my slingers. Or at least trade the ammo enough where they're not a threat. And I still have these spear warriors. I still have the cav unit to go hunt his slingers. So basically, while I'm finishing off his infantry, I can just run this way with my spears. He can't kill them. Like, the noble horse is not healthy enough to kill 2 spear warriors with cavalry counter tactics. And this unit is trying to chase off my slingers. You can see I'm literally just running away from his cav. I don't care if he eventually kills it, just needs to take time to do that. And these spears are going to push back his slingers so they can't shoot. And I can always just juke his general, I guess, faster and get to him. And here are my remaining infantry units. Still pretty healthy, 106, 98 Oathsworn, 84 Oathsworn. There's not much you can do against that. Again, so here I'm just going to go in front of his general. I know he's walking forwards, so that means he's shooting this, so I just have to run backwards for a second. Once he shoots once, then my spears will be on top of him. He won't be able to shoot again, so I just need to bait out this one volley so my cavalry doesn't die. Kind of doing that now. I lose a few men, but yeah, it's just over. So yeah, very close game. Again, I think there are probably better picks to be had. Honestly, from both of us. I think I wasted our Verni. He wasted um he kind of wasted our Verni here instead of going Armenia. Armenia's just better. Of course, if he wins this matchup, then I have nothing left for Armenia. But I think better option is for him to take Armenia here. To gives him better odds to win this matchup, and then I have nothing for our Verni. But if he won this matchup, I was dead to rights. Like I literally had nothing to counter Armenia, no shots I can kill the Cataphracts like at all. So I kind of understand where he's going from, but because I won that Parthia Armenia game, or Armenia, I had Armenia, he had Parthia. It kind of gave me a big advantage in the, or it gave me the enough to win the series. That's kind of the game I needed to win. Um, and yeah, I mean overall very close series, really good games. Well played to Sof, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed another really good final. Hopefully we'll have, I think Barbarian Warlord, me and Sof are actually going to host that together soon. I'll put a video out announcing that when it happens. But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.